Cbum history, six-time classic physique, champion, narrator script, 20 minutes. What if I told you that a skinny Canadian kid who got bullied in high school would go on to dominate bodybuilding like no one else in his division's history? That he'd win 6 consecutive Olympia titles, retire at the peak of his powers, and become more famous than most Mr. Olympia champions? Yeah, this isn't your typical underdog story. This is about Chris Bumstead. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why this man didn't just win. He revolutionized an entire category. Let me take you back to 1995, Ottawa, Canada. Chris Bumstead is born into a family that had no idea they were raising a future legend. Growing up, Chris wasn't the big, muscular kid. Actually, he was the opposite. Tall, lanky, getting picked on at school. You know the type. The kid who gets chosen last in gym class. But here's where it gets interesting. Chris had an older sister, Melissa, who was dating a guy named Ian Valliere. Now, Ian wasn't just any boyfriend. This dude was a serious bodybuilder, and he saw something in young Chris that nobody else did. At just 14 years old, Chris walks into a gym for the first time with Ian. And listen, this wasn't some life-changing moment where the clouds parted and angels sang. No, Chris hated it at first. He was weak, awkward, didn't know what he was doing. But Ian kept pushing him, kept telling him, "You've got the frame for this. You've got the genetics." And slowly, something clicked. Chris started seeing changes. His body responded to training like crazy. We're talking about that 1 in a million genetic response where muscle just packs on differently. By 16, Chris is getting serious. He's training consistently, learning about nutrition, studying the sport. And here's what separates Chris from everyone else who lifts weights in high school. He wasn't just trying to get bigger. He was studying aesthetics, proportions, symmetry. While other kids were doing ego lifts and chasing bench press numbers, Chris was analyzing his physique in the mirror like an artist studies a canvas. He knew early on that he didn't want to be a mass monster. He wanted to look like the golden era bodybuilder, Arnold, Zane, Newbrett, that classic V-taper, that aesthetic flow. Fast forward to 2014, Chris is 19 years old, and he steps on stage for his first competition, the CBBF Canadian National Championships in the junior division. And he doesn't just place, he wins. First show, first victory. But here's the thing, winning at the national level in Canada is cool, but it's not the big leagues. Chris knew he had a long way to go. So what does he do? He doubles down. More training, stricter diet, better coaching. He connects with his coach Ian even more deeply, and they start working on a long-term plan. 2 years later, 2016, Chris earns his IFBB Pro card at the CBBF Championships. Now he's playing with the big boys. And this is where most people would celebrate, take a break, enjoy the moment. Not Chris. He immediately starts planning his assault on the Classic Physique division. See, Classic Physique was perfect for him. It was created in 2016 specifically to bring back that golden era aesthetic, with weight limits based on height to prevent mass monsters. Chris's structure, his narrow waist, his wide shoulders, his long muscle bellies. Everything about him was designed for this division. His first year as a pro, Chris competes in several shows. He's learning, adjusting, figuring out how to peak properly. And then 2017 happens. This is the year everything changes. Chris qualifies for the Olympia, the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. He's going up against the best classic physique competitors in the world. And remember, he's only 22 years old. Most of these guys have been competing for a decade or more. Nobody expects much from this Canadian rookie. But when Chris walks out on that Olympia stage in September 2017, jaws drop. His conditioning is insane. Shredded to the bone, but still maintaining that full aesthetic look. His posing is confident, smooth, artistic, and when the scores come in, second place. Chris Bumstead, in his very first Olympia, gets second place in Classic Physique, losing only to the reigning champion, Brian Ansley. The bodybuilding world is shook. Who is this kid? Where did he come from? Now, most people would be thrilled with second place at their first Olympia. But if you know Chris, you know that second place eats at him. In interviews afterward, he's gracious, he's humble, but you can see it in his eyes. He didn't come this far to get second. He came to win. So what does he do in the off-season? He goes back to the drawing board with Ian. They analyze every weakness. His back needs more width. His hamstrings need more detail. His conditioning can be even sharper. They create a plan to not just beat Brian, but to dominate. But here's where Chris's story takes a dark turn. In early 2018, Chris starts feeling off. Fatigue, brain fog, just not himself. He goes to the doctor, gets some tests done, and the diagnosis hits him like a truck. IgA nephropathy, a rare kidney disease that causes the immune system to attack the kidneys. There's no cure. It's chronic. And for a bodybuilder, this is potentially career-ending. The medications, the stress on the kidneys from high protein intake, the physical demands of training and competing. Everything about bodybuilding makes this condition worse. Chris is devastated. He's 23 years old, finally breaking through in his career, and now he might have to give it all up. But you know what? This is where you see someone's true character. Chris doesn't quit. He doesn't throw a pity party. He works with his doctors to manage the condition. He adjusts his nutrition to be more kidney-friendly. He monitors his health constantly, and he makes a decision. He's going to compete at the 2018 Olympia no matter what. If this disease is going to take bodybuilding from him eventually, he's going to leave everything on that stage first. September 2018, Las Vegas, the Olympia stage. Chris walks out, and he's transformed from the previous year. Bigger, fuller, more conditioned. Every muscle group improved. And when he hits his poses, there's something different. There's a fire in his eyes, a determination. This isn't just about winning a trophy. This is about proving to himself that his disease doesn't define him, that he can overcome anything. The comparison rounds begin. Chris versus Brian Ansley, the two-time defending champion. And it's close, really close. Both guys are in incredible shape, but when they stand side by side, you can see it. Chris has the better structure, the wider shoulders, the narrower waist, the more aesthetic lines, and most importantly, his conditioning is absolutely peeled. When the judges make their decision and announce Chris Bumstead as the new Classic Physique Olympia champion, the arena erupts. Chris drops to his knees on stage, overwhelmed with emotion. This kid with a chronic kidney disease just became a world champion. All right, before we continue with Chris's incredible journey, if you're enjoying this story, do me a huge favor and smash that like button right now. It helps us keep making content like this, and seriously, we've got so much more to cover. His reign is just beginning. Now, winning once is impressive, but defending the title, that's where legends are made. And Chris knows this. The target is now on his back. Every Classic Physique competitor in the world is studying him, trying to figure out how to beat him. Brian wants his title back. New competitors are emerging. The pressure is immense. And remember, Chris is still dealing with his kidney disease every single day, taking medication, monitoring his protein intake, getting regular blood work, living with the constant knowledge that his condition could worsen at any time. But 2019 comes around, and Chris shows up to the Olympia even better than the year before. He's made improvements to his back thickness, his leg detail is cricier, his overall package is more refined, and he wins again, two-time champion. Now people are starting to realize this isn't a fluke, this isn't beginner's luck. Chris Bumstead is the real deal. He's setting a standard in Classic Physique that nobody else can match. Then 2020 hits. COVID. The whole world shuts down. Gyms close. The Olympia gets postponed. Everything is chaos. And for Chris, training at home with limited equipment while managing a chronic illness during a global pandemic, this could have been the perfect excuse to take a year off. But not Chris. He builds a home gym. He adapts his training. He stays focused. And when the 2020 Olympia finally happens in December, Chris steps on stage and wins his third consecutive title. Three-peat. He's now tied with Flex Lewis for the most consecutive Classic Physique Olympia wins. But here's where things get really interesting. After the 2020 Olympia, Chris does something that most champions don't do. He opens up completely about his struggles. He starts talking openly about his kidney disease, his mental health battles, his anxiety and depression. He shares his journey on YouTube, on social media, showing the unglamorous side of being a champion, the brutal prep diets, the kidney pain, the moments of doubt, and you know what happens? His fan base explodes. People don't just respect him as a bodybuilder anymore. They relate to him as a human being who's fighting through real adversity. Chris becomes more than a bodybuilder. He becomes an inspiration, a symbol that you can chase your dreams even when your body is fighting against you. His authenticity, his willingness to be vulnerable, it resonates with millions of people. His social media following grows faster than almost any bodybuilder in history. He's connecting with fans in a way that the sport hasn't seen before. He's making bodybuilding accessible, relatable, real. Then comes 2021. The pressure is unreal now. Can he win 4 in a row? Can he break the record and become the most successful classic physique champion ever? The competition is heating up too. Terrence Ruffin is improving rapidly. Ramon Rocha Queiroz is pushing hard. But Chris, he shows up in possibly the best condition of his life, absolutely peeled, every muscle fiber visible, and he doesn't just win, he dominates. 4-time champion. He's now the most successful classic physique competitor in Olympia history. Nobody else has 4 wins in this division. At this point, Chris could retire and be a legend. He's proven everything, overcome a chronic illness, won 4 Olympias, built a massive brand, made millions of dollars. But he's not done, not yet, because there's something driving him that goes beyond trophies. He wants to cement a legacy that will last forever. He wants to be remembered as the guy who defined an entire era of the sport. 2022. Chris is now dealing with more than just kidney disease. The years of pushing his body to extreme limits are catching up with him. His gut health is suffering from years of extreme dieting. His hormones are wrecked from the cycling on and off season. His mental health is struggling under the constant pressure, but he keeps going. And when he steps on the Olympia stage in December 2022, he wins his 5th consecutive title, 5-peat. He's not just making history anymore, he is history. Hey, quick question for you guys watching. If you were in Chris's position, dealing with a chronic illness, would you keep competing, or would you retire to protect your health? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious what you all think about this. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more incredible bodybuilding stories coming your way. After the 2022 win, Chris starts seriously considering retirement. His health is declining. The kidney disease is progressing. His doctors are concerned. His family is worried. And honestly, what else is there to prove? 5 consecutive Olympia titles. More classic physique wins than anyone else. He's the undisputed greatest in his division's history. But then he starts thinking, if he competes 1 more year, he could hit 6 consecutive wins. That's not just a record. That's an almost unbreakable record. That's walking away at the absolute peak on his own terms as the undisputed king. So Chris makes a decision. 1 more year, 1 more prep, 1 more Olympia. But this is going to be the hardest one yet, because now everyone knows it's probably his last. Every competitor is bringing their absolute best, trying to be the guy who finally dethroned Cbum. The media attention is insane. The pressure is crushing, and Chris's body is screaming at him to stop. The kidney pain is worse than ever. The fatigue is overwhelming. There are moments during prep where he questions everything. But this is where Chris's mental strength shines. He's not just physically gifted. His mind is his greatest weapon. He visualizes success constantly. He works with sports psychologists. He leans on his support system, his girlfriend Courtney, his coach Ayain, his family. They keep him going when he wants to quit. And slowly, painfully, he grinds through the prep. Every meal eaten, every workout completed, every cardio session endured. November 2023, Orlando, Florida. The Olympia weekend. Chris steps on stage for prejudging, and the bodybuilding world collectively holds its breath. Can he do it 1 more time? And when the lights hit him, it's clear. This is the best Chris Bumstead has ever looked. At 28 years old, in his 6th Olympia, dealing with a chronic illness, he's in the condition of his life. His back is wider. His legs are more detailed. His conditioning is absolutely insane. He looks like a sculpture, a work of art. The comparisons happen. Chris versus Ruffin, Chris versus Rocha. And every time, Chris just has that intangible quality, that je ne sais quoi that separates good from great. When they announce Chris Bumstead as the winner, 6-time Classic Physique Olympia champion, the place goes absolutely crazy. People are crying in the audience, other competitors are applauding, because everyone knows they just witnessed something special, the perfect ending to a perfect career. In his victory speech, Chris is emotional. He thanks everyone who supported him. He talks about his journey with kidney disease, and then he announces what everyone suspected. He's retiring. This is it. 6 wins and out. He's leaving at the very top as the greatest classic physique competitor to ever do it. And unlike so many athletes who retire and come back, you can tell Chris means it. He's done. His body needs to heal. His health needs to be prioritized. He's accomplished everything he set out to do and more. So what made Chris Bumstead different? Why did he dominate for 6 straight years when the competition was fierce? It starts with genetics, let's be honest. Chris has one of the most aesthetic structures in bodybuilding history. That narrow waist, those wide clavicles, those long muscle bellies. You can't teach that. But genetics alone don't win 6 Olympias. Plenty of guys have great genetics and never win anything. What set Chris apart was his attention to detail. Every pose practiced thousands of times. Every meal weighed to the gram. Every workout logged and analyzed. He treated his body like a science experiment, constantly tweaking and adjusting. And his posing, absolutely world-class, smooth, controlled, artistic. He made it look effortless. But that's because he practiced so much that it became second nature. His coaching with Ian Valliere was crucial too. They had a relationship built on trust and honesty. Yin could tell Chris hard truths, and Chris would listen. They worked together for years, perfecting Chris's physique, fixing weak points, maintaining strengths. That consistency in coaching is so important in bodybuilding, and Chris was smart enough to stick with what worked. But beyond the physical, it was Chris's mindset that truly separated him. Competing with a chronic illness that could end his career at any moment gave him a unique perspective. Every competition could be his last, so he left everything on the stage. No regrets, no holding back. And when he struggled, when the kidney pain was bad, when the prep was brutal, he found strength in his purpose. He wasn't just competing for himself. He was competing for everyone who's ever been told they can't do something because of a health condition, and his impact on the sport, immeasurable. Chris brought classic physique to the mainstream in a way it had never been before. His social media presence, his YouTube channel, his willingness to show vulnerability made bodybuilding accessible to millions of people who never cared about the sport before. He showed that bodybuilders are real people with real struggles, not just muscle-bound robots. He humanized the sport. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. If you've been enjoying this content and you want to help us create more in-depth stories like this one, consider becoming a channel member or making a contribution on our support page. Seriously, any amount helps. Whether it's the price of a coffee or more, it allows us to spend more time researching, scripting, and producing quality content. We don't have corporate sponsors. It's just us, creating content we're passionate about, and your support makes it possible. The link is in the description. Valeu demais to anyone who contributes. Chris's retirement in 2023 marked the end of an era. Since then, he's focused on his health, his brand, and his personal life. He got engaged to his longtime girlfriend, Courtney. He's building a fitness empire with merchandise, supplements, and content creation. He's living proof that you can transition from competing to business successfully. And he's using his platform to raise awareness about kidney disease, helping fund research and support others dealing with the condition. The legacy Chris Bumstead leaves behind is incredible. 6 consecutive Classic Physique Olympia titles, a record that may never be broken. He retired undefeated in his final 6 years as a pro. He never lost when it mattered most. He showed an entire generation what peak aesthetics look like. And he proved that mental strength and determination can overcome physical limitations that would stop most people. Young bodybuilders today study Chris's physique like students study textbooks. His proportions are the blueprint. His conditioning is the standard. His posing is the example. He's influenced the sport in a way that will be felt for decades. Future champions will be chasing the standard he set. And honestly, it's going to be hard for anyone to match what he accomplished. Think about it. A kid who got bullied in high school, who was told he was too skinny, who developed a chronic illness that should have ended his career. That kid became the most dominant force in his division's history, won 6 straight world championships, retired at the peak of his powers, built a multi-million-dollar brand, inspired millions of people around the world. That's not just a success story, that's a legacy. Chris Bumstead didn't just win competitions. He changed the culture of bodybuilding. He made it okay for bodybuilders to talk about mental health, to show vulnerability, to be authentic. He proved that you don't need to be the biggest to be the best, that aesthetics, proportion, and conditioning matter more than pure mass. He brought artistry back to a sport that had become too focused on size. And you know what the craziest part is? Chris is only in his late 20s. His impact on bodybuilding is already legendary, and he's got decades ahead of him to continue influencing the sport from outside the competition stage. As a coach, as a businessman, as an ambassador for the sport, his story is far from over. This is just the end of Chapter 1. So that's the story of Chris Bumstead. From a bullied teenager in Ottawa to the greatest classic physique champion in history. 6 consecutive Olympia titles. Countless fans inspired. A chronic illness managed and overcome. A sport forever changed. He came, he saw, he conquered, and he left on his own terms. That's how you build a legacy. That's how you become legendary. That's the Cbum story. And if this inspired you, if this motivated you, if this entertained you for the last 20 minutes, do me a favor. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. Someone who's facing obstacles. Someone who's been told they can't achieve their dreams. Because Chris's story proves that with the right mindset, the right support, and relentless determination, you can overcome anything. You can achieve greatness. You can become a legend. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.